up and sit down.
Welcome to the Health and Wealth Podcast with your hosts, Tim and Carter.
What's trending, Enrichers? Carter Wilcoxon, founder of CSI Financial Group here, with my co-host and former wealth advisor, Tim James, founder of
ChemicalFreeBody.com and your new health advisor. This is the show where we reveal the connection between physical and financial abundance.
Hey, welcome back, Enrichers. Carter Wilcoxon coming to you from sunny, warm, triple-digit Phoenix, Arizona. And as normal, I am joined by my fantastic, here he is right here, Mr. Chemical Free Body, Tim James, coming in from Eastern Oregon. Timmy, how are you, buddy?
Right. I'm doing good. Did you hit record?
I did. I hit record. Yes.
Yay. All right. Cool.
Well, it was funny. You're obviously referencing whenever I forgot to hit record. 3 or 4 podcasts ago, I was like, "Oh wait, hold on a second. That was a great intro, but now we got to start all over."
I actually did it twice myself. What was I doing? It was in my group coaching that we do recorded calls, and I had this gal, and her name was Presence Grace. And she's a death doula. We should get her on. It's very I was like, well, tell me about that. So, like there's birth doulas that help people bring their kids in naturally and, and just make it easy for them because they've been there and done it 100 times, like literally, and take the pressure off. Well, there's a gal that got a death doula, and she helps people exit gracefully. And she's been through it, over 80 times. And she is quite the extraordinary woman. And I was like, wow, this is so good. I want to have you on my group coaching community. So she came on, had another great session, and I forget to hit the freaking record button.
Oh, no.
Because we switched over to a new system, and I was like, trying to get everything ready. And it's like, I just forgot to hit the record. And I was like, So we just posted the podcast there so people could get the feeling of Presence Grace as she explained to us about death doula. So, Sam, one of the reasons we have this podcast is because, we want to, be very clear that, we want to have a fully abundant life. It's just not all about finances, right?
Totally.
Because Confucius said a healthy man wants 1,000 things, a sick man wants one.
Totally.
And when you're sick and you don't feel good, you just want to be healthy. And so we want people to have full abundance in their financial life and in their physical life. And the takeaway that I got from Presence was if you've lived a full life, then you gracefully exit. But if you didn't live a full life and you didn't play up to your potential, you didn't do what you really wanted to do, and you got caught up in a bad relationship and you decided to stay or whatever it was, those people are going out kicking and screaming like little kids because they never lived. And they don't want to go now, right? So for me, I wanted to have her on to really wake people up to the fact that it's really important to live today. So important today. And a lot of people are not living. That's why when people get a cancer diagnosis, it's actually a gift because it gives them the opportunity to wake up and be present and start living in the moment. And hopefully they can change their lifestyle, clean up their bodies, and heal themselves of the cancer. And then live a long, fulfilled life. And we see that happen a lot of times, but some people just fold and they don't want to change anything and then just go out kicking and screaming. So anyway, what do you think, Carter? Do you think we should get her on one of these days?
Well, what I wanted to do is I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Diana Cabrices from Snappy Kraken, who used to be a doula, right? We got her on the show, early on, maybe episode 15, somewhere around there or whatever. So that would actually, have bookend, if you will, the doula experience.
Totally.
So that would be fantastic, actually. But
doulas, birth and death.
Yeah, exactly. Dual doulas.
All right. Well, now let's get back to life.
Yes.
And we've got a guy he's actually alive. His name's Sam. Sam Jones. He's not dead yet, so he's going to help you out with your finances, right?
Yes. Well, what you're saying reminds me of something I do with my clients. We actually create a 1-page financial plan, kind of a living, breathing document we can refer back to throughout their whole life. Mm-hmm. But at the top of the plan, we have a statement of financial purpose where we kind of go through and discover together what it is that's truly important to you, because it's never money, right? It's just the things that money can help us to achieve or get. And anytime we make financial decisions, we always look back through that lens of what's really important to you. And it's helped a lot of my clients make really crucial decisions in their lives.
That's well, Sam, that is awesome. And I want to get a little bit deeper into that probably in the second segment.
Totally.
But Enrichers, let's go ahead and formally bring in our guest today from Vitality Capital Management, Sam Jones. Sam, you are coming in from Utah. Is that correct?
Yep.
Awesome. And I know that our Enrichers love to be able to hear your backstory and everything. And pre-show, you were talking a little bit about how you just got back from Europe, and maybe we'll get into that a little bit. But let's go ahead and go in the way back machine. And I don't know how far that is. Obviously, you're a fairly young-looking guy. I'll assume you're maybe a millennial, right? Very young in your financial advising career and everything, which gives you, I think, a lot of value and additional benefit when it comes to helping financial planners or being a financial planner for your clients. But what was it that kind of sort of got you started down this path? Was there a mentor? Was it parents? Was it something in the community or whatever? What was it that led you down this path to having a heart for helping people in the financial services area?
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of start. I'm just going to kind of throw it all out there and share my story, if that's okay.
Perfect.
So we were talking a little bit before this call we hopped on with Tim. So I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And as part of that, I served a 2-year mission, which was really a cool part of my life, because I hit age 18 and most 18-year-olds, they go off to college and party and it's all about yourself. But what I did for 2 years is I said, okay, I'm going to go and just serve other people. So I did that for 2 years. And it really shaped a lot of what I wanted to do the rest of my life, because at this time where most people are very selfish, I was learning to be selfless. And it really, like when I came back from my mission, I was actually sitting down with a friend of mine who is a financial planner. And we were just talking, and he's like, financial planning is the best, because you just get to help people all day, every day, work towards their goals and work towards what's truly important to them. And that really resonated with me. And that's what kind of got me going on learning about it. And I went to Utah Valley University, and they have a financial planning program, actually one of the top 5 in the nation. So it was perfect. I was able to graduate right there with my certified financial planning designation. And that's kind of what, I guess, got me started, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So let's talk a little bit about your mission work, 2 years, and I've got, quite a few relationships. I don't know if you know or not, but Mesa, Arizona is fairly, well known for the LDS community, right?
Yeah.
But I'm curious, where did you end up doing your mission? What multiple areas or?
Yeah, so a couple different areas, but they were all in the same kind of the same location. It was the California Ventura mission, which, if you know anything about that area, it's literally beautiful. I was so blessed to go there. It's this little strip right along the ocean, like Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, just all these beautiful cities right along the ocean. So it was awesome. Paradise for 2 years for me.
Nice. So when you were there, for 2 years, really trying to struggle in Santa Barbara.
Right.
Well, what was the experience like, and how do you think that really helped you now that you're in the financial services business?
Yeah, I mean, it helped me, I think, to really learn to listen and understand people a lot better, because I got pretty shy, wasn't able to really I was kind of one of those shy high school kids who wasn't able to have a super great adult conversation. But when I was out there talking to people all day, every day. So it helped me really be able to learn people and how to help people and what's important to people. And I think that's kind of what drove me again to financial planning.
Yeah. So you're saying you've been an introvert pretty much your whole life.
Basically.
So what was it about, I'm just curious about your, going to Utah Valley University. What was it about that because it's not as if you're like, hey, I'm going to go to Utah Valley University, or maybe it was because they've got this great financial planning CFP program or whatever it was in that arena. Was that what drew you to Utah Valley University?
No, it wasn't. I just tried to figure out where to go to school and just felt good. Utah Valley University felt good, felt right. And so I went there, and it just kind of all worked out because they had the program, and it steered me right into getting my CFP and into my career now. So.
Yeah, so you get into Utah Valley University, and while you're there, that's when you discover that they've got the ranked fifth in.
It's top 5. It kind of fluctuates from year to year, but yeah, it's the financial planning program.
Gotcha. So that was kind of sort of a providential thing then. Whenever you were there, that you just happened to get into that program then.
Yeah, it was a huge blessing that I just went there and found that.
Nice. So you're again a fairly young guy. Have you had a chance to start? And I don't know, how long ago did you finish your mission? And give us a sort of a time frame and timeline on how you got into where you're at right now.
Yeah, so I graduated high school in 2013. Left directly on my mission at the end of that summer after graduating. Got back in 2015. Started college 4 days after I got back from my mission, and went for college from 2015 to I graduated in December of 2019. So then I hopped out on my own and started kind of building my practice at that point.
Wow. So you December 2019. So March of 2020, you're thrown into the fire.
Absolutely.
The world over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts for sure.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your prospects as far as, like, again, a young guy. You haven't really started a family or anything like that yet. I'm assuming, but I'll assume you're just a single guy out there trying to.
I'm married with no kids.
Married with no kids. Okay. So where did you and your better half, as I call my wife, where did you guys meet? Did you meet at Utah Valley University?
No, she's 4 years younger than me. So growing up, we actually grew up in the same town. She was friends with my little sister. But 4 years younger, you never really consider them. But once, you're in college and things kind of get all in the same even playing field, and we kind of reconnected, and she actually served her mission in Mesa, Arizona. Yeah. So she got back from her mission, and we just kind of connected after that, and we were in the same kind of life phase and started dating, and a couple of years later got married.
Nice. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit. That's a good segue into you just got back from your very first inaugural European trip. So talk a little bit about that, because I think you said something like it was with your family that you went with there, right?
Yeah.
Your wife's family or your family?
This is my wife's family.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about what that experience was like, and traveling abroad, and over in Europe. I know we talked pre-show, but share with the enrichers what that was like for you and your wife.
Yeah, it was cool. I've never traveled. I mean, I've traveled to Mexico and Canada, but never really outside of Northern America. So it was really cool to just see a different part of the world. And, I always come back from those experiences of seeing different cultures, just like with my eyes wide open. Like there's no one way to do things. And like, I don't know, I just feel so blessed in my life. Like I have so much, I've been given so much, my health, my, financial situation, just everything. And like, just seeing how hard some people work and like how little they have, just kind of those things more than anything else is what I took away. But it was a really cool experience. Kind of, we traveled around toward Europe and saw a lot of the really cool history sites over there.
So what was was there like a cool, I don't know, monument or a city that you went to that you're like, oh, I would love to go back there again, that was part of that experience for you?
Yeah, I actually really liked Pompeii. It was really cool. That's the city where the volcano erupted and the ash came down and like kind of destroyed the city. And
Mount Vesuvius.
yeah. And there's some like a lot of it was preserved because of the ash, right? It was just cool to see how like inventive and just, how far they had come even 2,000 years ago. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah. So whenever I went to Tim, I don't know, have you ever been to Europe before, Tim?
That is one place I haven't been. Been to Asia, Canada, Peru, been around, but not Europe yet.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to go. I went to Rome. We didn't get a chance to go to Pompeii and everything, but that was one of the day trips that people were able to go on. So I never got a chance to see it, but I heard it was awesome. So would you recommend going to Pompeii to be able to see all that history?
Oh, absolutely. It was just so cool. Like, just how inventive people were over 2,000 years ago, like it was, and just like the ornateness of like, you saw like some old tile work and like pictures on the tile, and like it was just incredible.
Now, where were you at? Because you weren't staying in Pompeii, right?
No, we actually flew into Paris, and then we went out to Barcelona and got on a cruise ship and saw a bunch of different sites along the coast. So we didn't stay. It was just like a day trip.
Yeah, so you just went to different ports then. So Pompeii was on ports.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So I did a cruise line too. So I'm just wondering, whenever you got to Pompeii, was it where you had to like get on a smaller little boat and like you went into shore, or did you literally dock?
I think they docked there. Yeah.
Okay. So
it was Pompeii. I can't remember. I honestly can't even remember the port, but it was like an hour drive to Pompeii that we went to. So.
I got you. So you had to make a little bit of a trek to get down there.
Yeah.
While you were on that European trip, did you ever like get on one of their like monorails, on a train or anything, or was it just? Yeah,
we did a lot of public transit actually. It was pretty impressive over there, but really confusing when we first got there.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. The one thing, Tim, I think you'll find this interesting. So you can learn something from my experience. When we went to Rome, we went down to the train station because me and my wife, we had like a free day because it was a working vacation, right? So we go down to the train station. We decided we're just going to go somewhere and just explore, right? We're just going to get on a train and we're just going to go, right? So we wanted to go to Florence, right? Now, I've never really been that worldly at this time. And even though I took French class and Spanish class and stuff in high school, but we're like looking up on where's the train to go to Florence, right? So you can kind of sort of distinguish like Rome in Italian is Roma, right? You're like, okay, I can figure that out. Naples and, Pompeii, you can kind of sort of figure it out. But we're like trying to figure out like, where's Florence, right? Well, Florence in Italian is Firenze. We didn't know that at the time. So we literally got on this train, and we're on this train, and no one speaks a lick of English around it. And they do, they look at Americans like, I'm not even going to speak English, even though I can, because I don't like you Americans. So we're trying to figure out, we get on this train that we think is the right one, and I don't know what happened. It was the craziest thing, Sam. We're sitting there on this train, and I look over at my wife, and I go, I got a bad feeling. I think we're just on the wrong train. We got to get off. Literally 5 seconds later, the train starts going away. We'll come to find out it was going to Milan. For some reason. Anyway, we ultimately ended up getting on the right train, and we went to Florence or Firenze, and that was an amazing experience. That's where David's at. And it was really, really a Doma is this town right in the center of the town square and everything. That was amazing. But that train, the reason why I was asking, it was probably an hour and a half train ride there and an hour and a half back. But by the time we were done walking around the entire city, we were exhausted. I get on the train, and that train is like so quiet, it's like white noise out. Like the entire train trip back to Rome, I was out cold.
Yeah, we literally, when we were over there, we literally walked like 7-8 miles a day on average, and like we were dead tired too. At the end of the day, we just come back and crash.
Yeah,
That's a key point. That's, one of the reasons why people live so long and are healthier over in Europe is because they walk a lot. Exercise and moving your body. I just Dr. Shiva just sent out a video on when he went over to India. He's got a picture of this guy who's 60 years old, and he picks coconuts, and they also put these bowls up there and harvest the sap off the coconuts. And this guy's like 60, and he goes up and down these coconut trees 300 times a day, and he is ripped.
Wow.
Ripped. And his dad, who's like 92, is still doing the same things. And his grandfather just passed away at 118, and he was doing the same thing. And he stopped doing the coconut. He stopped climbing the tree 300 times a day when he was 102.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Wow.
So, I mean, when you get plugged back into nature, like you should see this guy. I mean, he's 60 and he's freaking, he looks good. He looks like, he's been doing, like he's in a calisthenics competition, but it's pretty freaking awesome. Like human beings, man, we used to be stronger. We've gotten weak, man. We're de-evolving as a species right now. We're getting sedentary. We sit in these damn chairs all the time. And they said, sitting's like the new smoking. For every hour that you sit in a chair, you need to do about 10 minutes minimum of exercise to combat it. It's like, yeah, sitting down is the new smoking, basically. That's how bad it is. Being sedentary. Our bodies are not built to just not do anything. That's just not how they're designed. They're designed to move. So anyway, I'm just glad that you guys both got that experience, because everybody that I've talked to over in Europe, I just talked to somebody else. Somebody else was over there, and they said they walked their asses off over there, and they were exhausted, but they slept really good. Everybody was sleeping really good. Like, yeah, you're moving around a lot. So anyway, great first segment, guys. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll get back into what Sam's doing over there at Vitality Capital Management to help people with their money. We'll be right back.
Estate planning. What does that even mean? When the inevitable happens for everyone on this planet, your estate plan kicks into action. But first, let's start with what an estate is. An estate is simply everything you own. Now, here's the issue and what needs to be understood when this event occurs. You only have two choices on this plan. Number one, either you plan how your estate gets handed out and distributed to those you leave behind. Or number two, your state decides who gets everything you own. For the first time ever, you can now take complete and total control of this plan that you've been deprived of for most of your life and generations before you. You can get personalized assistance along the way with a team of specialists whose job it is to make sure you have true peace of mind. It's important to understand that estate planning is a journey, and rest assured that our team will be available to you all along the way and at every step. Welcome to Estate Plan, home of the last estate plan you'll ever need. To learn more, make sure to reach out to your local advisor licensed with us, or go to our website for more information.
What's up, Enrichers? Tim James here. I'm back with my co-host, Carter Wilcoxon. He lives in a new house. And we've got our guest today, Sam Jones from Vitality Capital Management. We're hearing about how Sam went over to Europe, and he had his mission in California. I guess, going to California is a mission today, because that place is nuts. Right? You got to go to a beautiful place, so that was lucky. Did you surf at all when you were over there?
I've gone. When I was on my mission, we kind of had some strict rules, so I didn't really surf much. But I've gone back and surfed plenty.
Well, I'm sure there was people out there in the water surfing you could have talked to.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody else is doing it. That's like that's an open audience out there.
I actually heard the other day of a financial planner who only has client meetings while surfing.
Yeah, why not? Why not? When I was a mortgage guy, when I was doing that years ago, there was a guy that was very successful, and Carter's going to love this, and he played 9 holes of golf every morning and every evening. He would just show up at these golf courses. He loved golf. I mean, this guy loved golf. So he'd literally just show up, and they'd pair him up with somebody or a threesome, or, a twofer, and then off he'd go. And he just, 9 holes later, what do you do? What are you doing? Like, the dude crushed it.
Yep.
Really?
And like, he had no other marketing. He played 9 holes of golf in the morning, played 9 holes of golf at night. He met like 2 to 6 people a day that were new. And, typically people that are golfing got money because it takes a lot of time to go do that,
Yeah.
So that was his marketing strategy. So, man, I think maybe I should just move to the beach and just surf every day and just help people that want to detox. I don't know. Do you think that would work, Carter?
I think that you're onto something there, Tim James.
I think it's really important that you do things that you love, right? I think that's really important.
Yeah, you've got to have some passion. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I talked with obviously, you're still young and don't have any kids yet or anything, Sam. But
no, I got kids, Carter.
Yeah, I know you do. Sam doesn't though.
Oh, you said young. I was confused. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Well, Bill's super young, right? And which reminds me, by the way, sidebar, I got my 6-pack of Green 85 today because I was waiting till we moved into the new place and change the credit card and the mailing address and the billing address and everything. But I got my 6-pack of Green 85 today, and I did a little snapshot and Instagram post today with it.
Oh, nice. I thought you were going to say I got my 6-pack abs today. I was like, whoa. Hey.
No.
You keep on that 6-pack of greens, that 6-pack of abs will eventually show up.
I totally agree with that. There's no doubt about it. So I just want to let you know that I was pretty stoked this morning because I haven't had Green 85 in like 3 weeks.
Holy crap.
I know. I don't even know what to do with myself right now. But this morning I had it. Weird. I feel more energy just from doing my Green 85 this morning.
I was out for one day and I wasn't very happy about it, just on this move.
Yeah. Imagine
order some more.
3 weeks.
I just had 2 dozen show up. I order 2 cases at a time.
That's awesome.
Just easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, Sam. What are you doing? Sam. So let's get into it, Sam. What you got? What's the secret sauce over there at Vitality Capital? What do you like to? Who do you like to help, and how do you like to help them?
Yeah, good question. So I'll just kind of take you back to when I graduated college in 2019. I knew I wanted to work for myself. So I went out and found a company where I could be an IAR under an RIA firm. So I own my own relationships, if that makes sense. And I was thinking about, I want to build a career that I really love to do because retirement planning is not that hard when you love to do what you want to do and you don't have to retire, right? And that's kind of what I do with a lot of my clients. But I thought about, who I really want to work with, and it kind of narrowed down to people that are motivated to do things, change the world for the better, change, just, I don't know, self-development, that kind of thing.
Right.
And it kind of led me to a path of working with a lot of business owners and real estate investors, actually, because a lot of those people, from what I've just kind of had met and talked to up to that point, were just super motivated, doing a lot of really cool things. And so that's kind of how I picked kind of who I wanted to work with. So I went out and started interviewing business owners, real estate investors, and figured out what kind of things they needed and built a practice around helping them.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about, and I'm just going to say mentor, since you're been in the business for going on 3 years now. Your RIA, or Vitality Capital Management, Matt Romney, I'm assuming, who is the founder and the president. That is, were you introduced to him and then he sort of brought you in, or did he sort of recruit you and go, hey, by the way, here's all the things we can do? So talk a little bit about the relationship that you have with Matt.
Yeah, I found Matt actually just kind of through networking. Someone, when I graduated, referred me to him, and I connected with him, and he really had a lot of the things that I wanted out of a practice, a lot of the focuses. And so he helps me with a lot, and I have like kind of a team around me of multiple mentors because I know, I'm young. I don't know everything there is to know. So anytime I have questions or things, I go to him. We have a CPA in our office, or some of my other mentors, and we kind of work through different scenarios. So.
Yeah, gotcha. So, so how long has Vitality Capital Management actually been around then before you came and enhanced it?
I believe Matt started Vitality Capital Management in 2015.
Okay.
But he had been in the industry for 5 or 6 years before that. But yeah, he started it then, I believe.
Yeah, nice. So, talk a little bit about, we mentioned, I think in the first segment that you got started like December of 2019, which means March of 2020, everything shut down. Talk a little bit about what your practice has been like as far as, the challenges and the successes that you've had and what you've maybe had to do a little bit differently than maybe you weren't expecting to have to do with the whole last 2 years.
Yeah. I always knew it was was a huge, like I enjoyed the fruits of COVID because I knew I always kind of wanted to do a lot more video calls. Like I didn't want to have to be driving around to people's houses, kind of the old way of doing financial planning. I want to be able to work from anywhere in the world. Right. So, it was kind of a huge blessing in that sense because people just expected that that's the way it was going to be. But the way I kind of built my practice is I joined, like a couple real estate investor associations actually, and just started in Utah, it's kind of a red state. It didn't shut down as much as some of the others. They still had meetings, people just kind of wearing masks type thing.
Sure.
And so I went and I still spoke in front of people and was still kind of hitting the pavement, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I built my clientele and my practice over the last couple of years.
Nice. Awesome. So you're, are you doing mainly like, I'm assuming fee for service, right? You're fee planner and, so talk a little bit about what that looks like from your client's perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because a lot of business owners and real estate investors, to be honest with you, their best investment is real estate and business, right? Putting money back in their business. And at the end of the day, I knew I wanted to work with that. So I needed a fee structure that was going to work with that. And most, kind of traditional financial planning in the past, you get paid on commissions when you sell products or use different products or an asset under management fee when you're managing their assets. And we still do some of that. But the main way that I get paid is through just an annual fee. And that allowed me to be able to help these real estate investors, these business owners to invest back into what their most profitable investment and what they were working on without a kind of that conflict of interest. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that all got started.
Yeah. So, so talk a little bit about the what it sounds like to me then, like sort of subscription based type of a thing, or is it like there's an annual fee that and then they get unlimited access to you? Help us explain, understand that a little bit better.
Yeah, I kind of have like a couple different tiers of kind of frequency of meetings, whether it's monthly, quarterly, or even annually or semi-annually. And just depending on how often we want to meet, the level of service, the amount of things we're doing for our clients, we just base a price based off of that. And we bill quarterly, so and oftentimes we'll just bill people's account, but we'll have them save a little bit extra to pay our fee, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. So do you do a little bit of like annual fees like that, and then also a little bit of AUM where you're getting some of that? Okay. So as you continue growing your business and your practice, are you going to stay sort of in that niche, or do you think you're going to be open to other types of potential investors that want to work with you?
I'm open to helping other people where I think it's a good fit, but I really enjoy real estate business, and it's a lot of fun for me to help my clients to be able to grow something out of nothing, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so I've really enjoyed that, and I think I add a lot of value. And so I don't know. I mean, what was the question? And whether I see myself?
Yeah, I mean, do you just see yourself sort of like, working? Here's the reason why I'm asking is that a lot of advisors, as they're younger in the industry and everything, as they get older, their clients get older, right? So they end up having to maybe start to pivot a little bit because you reach a different risk tolerance in your life. You have a succession planning, you have a liquidity event, things like that. So do you kind of sort of foresee yourself? I mean, obviously, you're a few years into it, you're, early to mid 20s. I mean, I know that's a long way down the road and everything. I was just wondering if you kind of sort of had this idea of what it was going to look like down the road.
Yeah, I mean, some of that I'm sure will happen naturally, but like I actually went out and got my real estate license and then like joined a firm and doing some real estate stuff myself, just because I want to understand my client's world inside and out. And like, I can't do that unless I've like done it, if that makes sense. Yeah. And so right now, I mean, the plan is to go full force ahead, kind of helping that niche, but I'm sure things will kind of change as life changes.
So are you getting a lot of your clientele from some of these associations that you're a part of? I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier, and or referrals then or introductions? Yeah.
That's where most of my clients have come from. I'm on the board actually of the Salt Lake Real Estate Investor Association. And then I go to a lot of the other local RIAs in Utah and speak at them and do different, just networking there. And that's where a lot of my clientele has come from.
Nice. So give me a sense of, what is the makeup of those like business owners and real estate investors? Are they a lot of them young like you, or are they a little bit, old like
us? Yeah, I mean, I have some kind of across all the spectrum, but I would say my kind of avatar or most of my clients fall in the range of they're somewhere between the age of 25 and 40, kind of in that really growth oriented stage of their business or their real estate, taking a lot of risks because they can kind of afford to. Mm-hmm. But we try and make sure it's not too much, if that makes sense. Yep. But yeah, that's primarily where it is.
Gotcha. So since you can work from anywhere, do you are you seeing some opportunities to work with clientele in different areas, or is it just primarily right there in your own backyard?
Because I've gotten so much of my clients from those associations, a lot of them are most of my clients come from that, but I do have some clients all across the country.
So how far do they expand? How far east? And I
have some in Arizona, California, Michigan.
Wow. So, Michigan. So you don't have
Philadelphia. I have one in Philadelphia too.
Oh, okay, cool. So how did that happen? How do you get referred to somebody that's in Pennsylvania?
I was posting some content on LinkedIn, and someone who actually was already an investor out there just reached out to me and said, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Let's talk." Oh. So that's kind of how that happened.
Cool. So expand on that a little bit. Like, what was it that they liked that you were doing?
I mean, you guys do a great job of this, but most of my content that I have posted, and I haven't done a whole lot. I need to be better at that, but it's just, I try and educate people, on, at that time, it was something real estate related. We were talking about how to calculate a return of your investments and things like that. And he just liked the approach of, that we did, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So was he a real estate investor or was he a business owner, or both?
He's actually both. Most of my clients are both. It's kind of funny. But like, just to give you an example, like so many investors either get really fixated in Utah It's really easy to get fixated on appreciation, especially these last couple of years because the market's gone crazy.
Yeah.
And it's really been that way across the nation. But a lot of other investors I talk to get super focused on cash flow. But, we kind of look at the holistic, like cash flow, debt pay down, depreciation, tax benefits, and that appreciation. What's your overall return? How are your properties doing? How can we maximize, your returns to meet your goals? Those kind of conversations.
Nice. Well, I'm going to ask one last question. I got to bring this up because Tim would be disappointed if I didn't. When you were in college, what kind of sports did you play?
Kind of sports?
Yeah. Did you play sports at all, or were you such an introvert that you were really just kind of sort of like into the booking of everything?
We're talking like college or high school?
Either one. Yeah. I mean, what was it maybe that you did either scholastically or, athletically that helped you with what you're doing today?
I did a lot of different sports. I did lacrosse. I did football. I did a lot of the fun, like pickleball, tennis, spike ball. But one thing that I think has helped me today is wakeboarding, actually, funny enough. And things don't come super naturally to me most of the time. Like I have to work harder than most people to master something. And me and my cousin, actually, we decided one summer we wanted to do a backflip on a wakeboard, which was crazy. Yeah. And we just like biffed it so many times. And it literally I swear, like I had a concussion or something. Because
you can get hurt on those things.
Yeah. But like persistence, just like never giving up. I was able to I can do backflips like all day now. And so I don't know if that answers if that's what you're looking for, but that's helped me, I think, a lot, is just being persistent regardless of my outcome.
No. Yeah, that's a really good trait to have, is like just never giving up. You got to get up one more time than you fall down. Totally. Not that it's the best example for health, but like Sanders got told no like 60,000 sometimes before he got yes, and now they're slinging fake chicken meat all over the world. So
but it is about moving, Tim. So it is about health. It is about moving, though.
Yep. So I really like that, and that's probably why you're going to do well in the financial services industry, because if you don't know something, you'll just go figure it out, and you'll help the client, and you'll learn, and you just keep moving forward and and you'll just keep putting arrows in your quiver until you become a very dangerous man. People are going to come to you, and they're going to know that you're going to help them with their money no matter what.
Totally.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, we're going to take another quick break, and when we get back, Sam gets to ask me any question he wants in regards to health. That's what we call it, the Health and Wealth Podcast. We'll be right back.
Humans only use 10% of the brain, and that can't change no matter how much we try. But you don't need to limit your body to the same standards. Bring your cells to 100% with Green 85 Juice Formula. Replace 85% of nutrients your body needs to function to the next level. Our chemical-free juice formula is 100% organic, contains no stimulants, and is made right here in the USA. Visit chemicalfreebody.com and get Green 85 shipped right to your door. chemicalfreebody.com.
What's up, Enrichers? Tim James here with my co-host Carter Wilcoxon. We're back in the house with Sam Jones, Vitality Capital Management. Sam, this is the point in the show where we flip the script, and you get to ask me the questions about health. So what questions you got about health, brother?
Yeah, I've got a couple, actually. One of my first questions is, we talked a little bit earlier about how sitting's the new smoking or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like, last couple of years, I've done a lot of sitting, but, in my practice. And I feel like I haven't really gained necessarily a ton of weight, but I felt like just that little kind of roll at the bottom of the stomach start to just increase a teeny bit, if that makes sense. And I want to prevent that from really
that's a good idea, dude.
Continuing. And I exercise probably 2 to 3 times a week for 30, 45 minutes, maybe. But I don't know if I'm doing, I know I'm not doing enough. What recommendations would you have for me in that kind of scenario?
Well, the first thing I would recommend, just like I recommend everybody else, because, the common thought is, and what's taught out there is if you want to lose weight, eat less and exercise more. Well, they've been saying that shit for decades. How well is it working for everybody? It doesn't work. Like it's stupid. Eat less, and you can't eat less because your cells are freaking starving for nutrients, and what you're eating doesn't have the nutrients in there because it wasn't in the soil. I'm actually writing an article right now. I'm going to read a piece out of it, and it goes through. Let me just go scroll down here and find this. Okay, here it is. So I was going through 3 of the main reasons why people are, sick, fat, nearly dead right now. And the third root cause was nutrient deficiencies. So after a couple years of me being on this Hippocrates lifestyle that I learned at the Institute, I learned that roughly 85% of the nutrients in the soil were gone. So think about that. That means that most of us are walking around literally on 15% fuel that our bodies require simply because the soil has been overfarmed. This is why everybody has low energy. So if your cells are not getting the nutrients they need, they're going to be send signals to your body because it's an intelligent system. Hey, Sam, hey, Sam, hey, Sam, go eat. I need nutrients. And you go eat. But you keep going back to the places that have foods with nutrient deficiencies because it wasn't in the soil. And then along the way, it's processed, irradiated, pasteurized, boxed, canned, jarred. You see what I'm saying? It's been denatured, right? So so that's one. That's one reason. That's one thing you got to really look at is you have to replace what's missing, and that's why Carter was out. We have a product called Green 85 that would work really well for you. It replaces the 85% of nutrients, and it's like 5 pounds of highly concentrated vegetable matter in a little scooper, and you just mix it up with water and drink it in the morning. You're done. But before that, you want to look at the number 2 reason, which is toxic chemicals. It's a health crisis that we're dealing with right now is because of microscopic toxic chemicals that you can't see. So if you search after this show's over umbilical cord chemical, you're going to see that every child being born has almost 300 chemicals in the womb, and 180 of those cause cancer, and 217 they're basically toxic to the brain. And like 208 of them cause like birth defects and abnormal development. So it's like, what? Now, you being a young couple, if you want to have a kid, a healthy kid, this is what's going to happen today when you have that child, unless you get ahead of the curve. And, so just like you advise people on finances, financial advisor, yes, I advise people on health, right? Because they just, nobody's teaching this stuff. So I had to go self-teach myself over the last 11 years. I went to Hippocrates Health Institute 5 times. I've been to other places. I research, I read, and then I act. I'm always taking action, trying things, getting first-person experience to see if they actually work. So these toxic chemicals are literally like backpacks of weight and toxins on every cell in your body, and they're dragging down your health, and they're messing you up. So if you can, and the other thing is that as these toxic chemicals bioaccumulate in your fat and your muscle tissue, especially the fat tissue, it's a protective mechanism that your body's using to save you from dying from these chemicals exposure. So it puts it in your fat and shields it. No matter how hard you work out, what you do, you're not going to be able to lose that fat because it's holding on to those toxins. So in order to get rid of the fat cells, you have to change the internal the environment, which means you need to have more water into the body. And the water you want to have needs to be purified and restructured because most water today is polluted. And are you on city tap water or a well?
City tap.
Okay, so that water also needs to be restructured because high pressure pipes in the cities is not a natural thing, and those water molecules have been bunched up and they just don't go through the intestinal lining that well. It's like a bowling ball going through.
How do you purify those?
Well, what you do is you can on the cheap, you go to the grocery store and you get gallon glass jars. You start packing single purified water for 25 to 50 cents a gallon. If you got the money, then you invest. There's 2 systems. I've been through 6 systems. I got a system that's a couple $1,000. It's a triple purification system. That way I've got 99.9% complete clean water. And then I run it through this other system that restructures it so it's highly absorbable. It alkalizes it, and then which is good to set up an alkaline state in your body. And then number 3, it actually charges it with molecular hydrogen, which is like a super added, amazing double super whammy bonus. It's like literally molecular hydrogen is ridiculous because you get not only you getting the benefits of all the water and everything, but with molecular hydrogen, man, it's almost like you're high on water. Like all day. Like if I drink 3 quarts of that water, I'm 6 hours. I'm just like, I'm high on water. I mean, people think I'm on cocaine. And so I don't have my water system set up right now, and I can actually feel it because I don't have that charged water.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm moving in, and it's just one thing after another. I just got power here to the trailer and all that stuff. So I'll be getting that sucker set up pretty soon. But yeah, so you want to look at, it's not just go exercise. That exercise thing, and I think you should increase your frequency simply because your body's designed to move every day, right?
Yeah.
You should be at least going for a walk, mini trampoline. You got to get out in nature. These things are very important, getting these habits going. And then you can share these with your kids, because what you're experiencing right now is what I went through in my 20s. I got out of college baseball, and then a little belly started when I started, with a sales job.
Yeah.
Because we were running around, hey, you buy, I fly, or I buy, you fly. And they'd send people and they'd go get, freaking bacon, egg, and cheese burritos at Don Pedro's and, give me extra green sauce. And I freaking love those things, but I started getting fat. And you just kind of go along with it, because you're just like, oh, you get a gym membership, but the belly just starts getting bigger. And then by the time you're 37, you're 42 pounds overweight and you got all health issues and you're wondering what's going on and you're getting surgery. Wondering if you're going to come out of this alive. So I'm really glad that you have the awareness and the planning mentality for your health, and you're wanting to get ahead of this ahead of time. So my answer for you is, like, if you want to lose that little belly, yeah, exercise is great, but you got to want to do it. So what we do is we create a lifestyle, clean you up on a cellular level, clean up your digestive tract, flood the body with nutrition, and let nature do the rest, and your body is nature. And then you'll have more mental clarity, more energy, and then you're going to feel pulled to want to exercise more instead of having to force yourself to go do it, which is never a good thing.
Totally.
It doesn't last. So anyway, and we have products to help with that. We have a gut detox product you can take that keeps your gut clean. Carter and I take it, and then a toxin detox that keeps your all the pollution out of your cells, your fat, and your muscle tissue. And then I would also recommend infrared sauna, because it'll de-stress you, detox you, help with your stress, help with your sleep, take you out of fight or flight mode, and put you into rest and digest mode. And I can't even talk. It accentuates everything that you're doing. So there's just certain things that you could do. I take an infrared sauna every day. I think if you did that, you get your water right and start, taking our products, or, maybe growing your own sprouts would be a good thing too. Because that way that's the only other way to get nutrition into your real good nutrition into your body. Or go to local farmers markets, join a co-op, and you can start buying food in bulk, lower on the food chain, and getting it cheap. That'll save you and your wife money, especially if you have kids and more mouths to feed. And if you're Latter-day Saint, you're probably going to have 10 of them. So you probably need to get ahead on this, and you'll be able to save a lot of money and feed your kids the most nutritious food on the planet.
Cool. Very cool. So the top things would just be clean up the water, and
your gut.
Go ahead.
Your gut and your fat tissue. You just want to detox your body, and what we create is we help people create a daily detox regimen, because you live in a world that's polluted. So you're polluting yourself every day. You take 20,000 breaths, and right now you're breathing in fumes from the paint that's off gassing in that deal in your office, commercial space. You probably have fluorescent lights above you, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are toxic. So I would have I would take those out and put full spectrum or wide spectrum lighting in. It's a little bit different color. It's more like natural light, but those are toxic. They saw that when they, what do you call it? The car manufacturers in Denver did this. And they didn't probably do it because they wanted to help their clients, but they got sick and tired of people getting sick and taking time off, and it was slowing up their production. So somebody somehow had some brains, and they thought, well, we have them locked up inside these big, huge buildings, and they're not getting sunlight. Maybe we should put some lights in here that are more conducive to natural lighting. And they noticed people's moods improved, their attitudes improved, and they got sick less. So this is why it's very important. Do you have a open window? Do you have a window in your office there? Or are you enclosed?
I'm enclosed.
So you really need to get good lighting. So I'd get rid of the fluorescent bulbs. This is part of the protocols we do when people hire us to do like commercial coaching. We come into the office, we take out all the shitty fluorescent bulbs. We have them replace it with full spectrum lighting. We set up the water purification system at the sink so people can have full tilt, on demand, badass water 24/7. If they have, you have carpet.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. So especially in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the carpet is actually off-gassing formaldehyde, and you're breathing that in, embalming yourself really slow. You didn't know you're doing that, did you?
No clue.
Most people don't. Most people don't. So it's just like, it's kind of crazy. But here's the thing with carpets, I think it's between the combination of carpets, because almost everybody has those things. They're nasty anyway. If you ever took them apart and analyzed what's in there, it's gross. But besides that, they're off-gassing formaldehyde. Also, when they genetically modify plants, you're actually disrupting the plant's internal metabolism. So instead of the plants producing like glutathione, which is really good for us, it starts producing formaldehyde. Genius, right? So now we're embalming ourselves. And morticians now are old people that eat a lot of GMOs and have carpets, my guess. The morticians are telling us that they're kind of already embalmed when they get there. They don't need to put a whole lot in them. So think about that.
Wow.
So an air purification system, and I have one. I have it plugged in. It's right over there, and you see it in the corner over there, down below the little black box behind the file cabinet thing. So I just moved in here. I haven't got everything organized. You can get one of those in your office and just plug it in, and you'll have mountain fresh air. And you will be more productive, and you'll have less toxic accumulation in your body, right?
Interesting.
So think about it. If you're an intelligent system, what are your inputs? And if your output is high quality health and a high vibe life, it's real simple. It's like, it's what you put in is what you get out. You hear people say, you are what you eat. Well, you literally are, but you're more than that. You're what you breathe, what you drink, what you eat, your thoughts, clothing you wear, shampoos, toothpaste, deodorant, all that stuff. Any of those things that comes into contact with your body is an input. You have to look at those inputs and make sure that they are chemical free, that they are clean, and they're as close to nature as possible. If you can do this, which doesn't take a whole lot of thinking, it's just like, okay, I buy an air purification system. Okay, when I build a house, I won't put carpet in. If my house is already painted, I'm going to stay here, then I'm going to repaint it with a non-toxic paint, cover it up, and protect myself, right? And then with the water system, I get my water dealt. Once you have the air and the water, you have two major inputs done. Then after that, we have our products that start sweeping the crap out of your body and start flooding your body with nature, make it easy. And then you have all this extra energy and you want to exercise more, and you can get into stretching and yoga and all kinds of different stuff, walking and mini trampolines. Yeah. It's just endless. But that's how it starts, man. It's all about setting up that environment. It's really not that hard. But a lot of people like myself 11 years ago, I was completely clueless about this. No idea. Was opened up to it. I got first person experience. I lost weight, healed myself, and now I just want to tell everybody else about it, about how I did it.
That's amazing. That's cool. It reminds me of a quote. James Clear in Atomic Habits, he says, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And I feel like, that kind of those systems those health systems, those inputs really do affect our outputs a lot. Absolutely.
And it's just like, you save money every month. It doesn't look like a lot, and compounding interest looks like a snail. And then all of a sudden it takes off. Yeah. If you're consistently putting good inputs into your system all the time, you're going to have good health. Your health has no option but to go up, and age is not a factor, right? There's a guy here. He's a freaking 102 years old, and he's climbing up a coconut tree 300 times a day. There's not many 20-year-olds that can do this today in America. Yeah. So let's put that in perspective. So we are disconnected from nature, and that's it. You have to remember that, Sam, that you are nature, and you are disconnected from the mothership by wearing rubber-soled shoes, driving rubber tires, living on the second floor, whatever. You live on bed. We are disconnected literally from nature. And then, oh, Jimmy, get out of the dirt. You're gonna get sick. No, the dirt is what Jimmy needs. The kid needs to be drug around in the dirt. He needs to lick the dirt. He needs to, sniff the dirt, get it in his hands. That's part of being connected to nature. And this is why children with pets that go outdoors versus children with pets that are indoors versus children with no pets. The children with pets, this was a French study, I believe. It was like 47% of them had less throat, nose, and ear infections, because the pets are bringing this soil-based bacteria into the kids and loving and kissing all over the kids, and the kids are petting the dogs and the cats and all this kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Right.
So the disconnect from nature is what's literally killing us.
Interesting.
So just plug your butt back into nature and watch what happens.
Yeah.
Cool.
You'll feel better. You'll have more energy, and everything will get better. Your practice will get better, and your little teeny belly will go away.
I appreciate it.
I know. Look at
Let's
this.
get ahead of that before it turns into a big one, because a lot of the advisors that I work with have big old bellies.
Yeah, that just kind of sort of just naturally starts happening as you get older. If you're not, aware of your environment,
Totally.
thing that that's. I mean, of course. I mean, that's what's going to happen. The environment that you live in, that's what you become, right? And you mentioned earlier, Tim, right? You are what you eat, or your inputs and everything. And I got to tell you, Sam, I am talking about being blessed. I got a chance to meet this guy, and now every single week when we do guest coming on to the podcast, and that's what we call our listenership enrichers, because we're trying to enrich them on the different things that I get on a weekly basis with Tim, because we're really closely connected and everything. But before I met him, I wasn't aware of any of these things that he's talking about. Now, for me, I get to hear this on a regular basis, so it's almost like he's beating me over the head with it. He talked about that infrared sauna for 6 months. He was telling me about. Not even telling me. He's like, dude, did you get your infrared sauna yet? Did you get your infrared sauna yet? Like, no, I know. I got to do it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The best, most economical purchase. I had no idea. Whenever Tim started talking to me about a sauna, in my mind, I started picturing this, this big wooden sauna. I'm like, how do you get a sauna in your house? That's not even possible. Well, this sauna that he turned me on to, you go into it. It's in my gym. I have a home gym in my house. I go in every single morning. A lot of times at night also, I'll go in there for just a quick little 10 or 15 minutes, and I just do the sauna and rinse off and everything. And I sleep like a baby when I do it. When I don't get the best sleep? When I don't do the sauna, right? So now he didn't talk about the sleep. We've talked about sleep on the podcast before, and that's obviously a key component.
It's number 3 after air and water.
Yeah,
sleep.
Exactly. But that sauna was the best, $1,400 that our guest, they get a discount and everything when they get it. The best $1,400 they will ever invest, because it forces you to just stop what you're doing. What I love about it is that all I got to do is I go in, I sit down in this one person sauna, I zip up, and I can't move. I'm literally there, and it helps me. I'll do breathing exercises and everything, but you completely are forced to have to just sit still and just have this infrared sauna just do what it does, right? It's just awesome. Anyway, it helps me with my energy. It helps me with my, and you can tell I've got a little bit of energy, right?
Yeah. Well, some people actually watch documentaries or movies or whatever. I know one gal, she was watching The Vampire Diaries or something when she was taking saunas, but I think it's a really good time to reflect. It's a good time to meditate, breath work, pray. This is what it could be used for, because you're already there. Like Carter said, you're not moving, but
totally.
It makes, we could be an infomercial for infrared saunas, because they're just that damn good. It's like it last year, it was the biggest discovery edition that I had out of the whole year. And I'm on the beat. And Carter, you don't know it, but I have something that's just as big as that sauna, maybe bigger, that I've added to my lifestyle that we're going to be rolling out here pretty soon. So every year, I because I'm 24/7 a person, I'm experimenting on my body, Sam, trying to find things to improve my health, fix a problem that I have or whatever. And then if I find it and it works, I share it with my team, my staff. It works for them, which this product, by the way, is solving so many issues for our staff. It is going to become a foundational pillar to our detox program, along with our gut detox and toxin detox. It is right there with them. And it is a powerhouse. It's going to knock out funguses, mold, and yeast all in one. I mean, complete annihilation. And it works on bacteria too, bad bacteria. So and it works on some virus stuff too, but we don't bring up that word too much because you can get in trouble nowadays. But I'm excited to roll that out, Carter. It's a little hush-hush secret. So people are finding out about here before even my podcast.
Yeah, how about that? And the good news is that I'll get to hear about it before anybody.
And it's cheap. It's cheap and simple and safe, and kids can take it, and it's pretty awesome. So, I'm super stoked about what's happening.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I was super stoked to have Sam Jones on the podcast today. So, Sam,
Yeah, me too.
Tim James.
What was that?
I was just saying, do you have any other questions for Tim James?
Well,
we could go on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Health stuff, right? But
anything with the brain. Like
What's
I feel like so I read a mindfulness book years ago, and it talked about these I can't remember what they were. They were like cleaning houses, so like maids that were it was an experiment. Well, half of them were told you're exercising when you're doing this, and half of them weren't told anything, and they like measured their health like 6 months later, and like the ones that were just thinking about this is exercise, taking these sheets in and off and cleaning this, had like lost weight. They were like in a better mental state, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the brain is like, this is I have a whole lot of projects that I'm trying to get done, and when I get done with them, what you're talking about is a field that I'm going to dive in head first. So this is the same thing as where there's two examples here. Like Tony Robbins talked about this years ago, where they took somebody that was shooting hoops, they have them shoot 500 free throws, then they have somebody else like in their mind close their eyes and shoot the free throws, and every time see a perfect release, perfect shot, net swish, and they would do this 500 times in their mind, not actually physically shooting the ball.
Yeah.
And then what they did was then they lined those two people up, and then they had them shoot the ball. The one who practiced in their mind always beat out the one that had actually practiced.
Interesting.
Same thing happened with piano. They would have somebody play the piano and practice the piano. Then they had somebody there where they coached them through where they visually did it. Then they set them down, and the person that played the piano without actually touching the piano for the first time actually played it just as good or better than the person who had been practicing on the piano. Joe Dispenza is a guy who was a chiropractor who got in an accident and screwed up his back, and he was laying on his face 6 hours a day meditating because they told him he would never walk again. And he knew what the spine looked like because he was a chiropractor. So in his mind, he sat there and he said it took him hours and hours and hours and hours to get through this, and he kept working on it. And he would completely go through his mind and reconstruct his spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, right? Nervous system by nervous system. And finally, he got it down where he could do this whole process in 45 minutes. And he healed himself, and he's walking today, and he's got $1 million business going around showing people. And people are healing like this. So the point is that when you and they've actually done brain mapping on people that do these brain exercises. Your brain actually, what happened to him was he was actually recreating his spine. The brain actually did it. Like the brain will start making new pathways because it believes it. That's why if somebody tells you you're a loser and you believe it, you're actually hardwiring that crap into your nervous system, into your brain.
Yeah.
So you know your body, your what do you call it? The subconscious mind. It's a processor that works 1,000,000 times faster than your conscious mind. That's why when you get into an accident, there's a chemical released in your body that shuts down your conscious mind and taps right into the subconscious because it's 1,000,000 times faster to save your life. Because you don't have time to think, literally, right? So it takes over because it's 1,000,000 times faster processor. It's quite extraordinary. So whatever you feed it, it believes. If you feed it garbage, it's just going to believe the garbage. If you feed it good stuff, it'll feed the good stuff. And it has the ability to rewire, build pathways, and build new neural connections through the mind. So that's what you're talking about. So it's pretty cool stuff. I 100% agree with it and believe in it. I've experienced some of this a little bit in my life, but that's definitely a field that I want to learn more of because I think I'm kind of doing it old school. It's like, teaching people this lifestyle and cleaning everything up and all this stuff, but there's something to do with that brain where I know that we have the power to like instantly heal ourselves. I just haven't learned how to tap into that yet, but that's one of my missions in life. Great question.
I'll be excited to see what you come up with.
Right.
Look at there. Look, Tim's going on a mission now. You guys will have something in common.
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, Enrichers, I want to thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Health and Wealth Podcast. And to be able to see all of our previous guests, like Sam Jones, you can go to our website at www.thehealthandwealthpodcastshow.com. Make sure to also like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google. So for my fantastic co-host, Mr. Tim James, Mr. Chemical Free Body himself. I'm Carter Wilcoxon, CEO and founder of CSI Financial Group. Thanking you for joining us for another episode. Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show and being a fantastic guest. And we look forward to hear more about your success. And as you continue growing your practice, make sure to keep up with us. We'll have in the show notes, the website. Make sure everybody has a chance to be able to know where to find you and connect with you. And since, you are available all over the place, from Philadelphia all the way to Utah and everywhere in between, they'll be able to chance to, in the show notes, be able to find you. So
awesome.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Enrichers, until next time, we will see you on the Health and Wealth Podcast. Thank you very much, everybody. Hey, Enrichers. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Health and Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Carter Wilcoxon.
And I'm your host, Tim James. And by God, we are committed to helping you guys have fat wallets, flat bellies. So tune in again for another episode and make sure to like, share, and drink a lot of water.
Or beer.
You have just listened to the Health and Wealth Podcast with Carter and Tim.